Live. We are live. There we go. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the first of Orchestra Vitae's Meet Team OV talks. In these sessions, we really want to give you the opportunity to get to know the people behind the orchestra and to tell you a little bit about the story of the orchestra thus far, right back to its inception through to the present day and the form that it takes these days. So I'm joined for the first of these. I think there's going to be 4 talks. Is that right?
Yes.
We hope.
Yeah.
Over the next 4 weeks, meeting different members of the team and learning about what they do and what they bring to Orchestra Vitae. So I'm joined, appropriate enough, for the first talk by Dr. Fiona Gibbs, and we'll get to her in a minute. But so my name's Mark Walkem, and I'm a cellist with the orchestra, and I've been playing with the orchestra for 5-6 years. Yeah. And so we've done lots of different projects together, which has been really, really exciting. So I'm joined by Director of Music and co-founder, Dr. Fiona Gibbs. So welcome, Fiona. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
And I have lots of interesting questions for you today, some of which have been submitted by Orchestra Vitae's friends and supporters.
Amazing.
We have a wonderful group of supporters who come to our concerts and supports some of our online activities that we've been doing since lockdown as well, so since March. We're going to start at the very beginning, which is obviously a very good place to start.
Indeed.
And I'd like to let's just talk about how Orchestra Vitae came into being, about its inception, and about its first concert, things like that. So try to tell us something about that.
Yes. So the orchestra was founded in 2012. New Year's Eve, kind of 2011, 2012 to be precise. And I co-founded OV with the conductor Michael Cobb. And in 2012, as I'm sure many of you will remember, it was the London Olympics that year. And we were in our early 20s, and everything just felt really exciting. It felt like there were going to be lots of really exciting things happening in London, sort of as well as the Olympics. There were lots of cultural events that were going to be occurring as well. And it just felt like a really good time to be kind of in London and young and doing lots of exciting things. And we had talked quite a bit about sort of putting together an ensemble for Mike to conduct and to play Brahms's First Symphony, which is a piece that both Mike and I really love. So we just sort of decided that evening that 2012 was going to be the year that it happened, and I'm very pleased to say that it did happen. And our first concert took place at St Stephen's Church on Gloucester Road on April the 15th of 2012. So a little while ago now.
Over 8 years ago now.
Yes.
8.5 years ago or so. And it still exists for the now, which is fantastic. Now I think that's a real testament to the hard work and enthusiasm of those behind it.
Yes, lots of people it's testament to.
And also wonderful support from everyone who comes to the concerts and supports in other ways as well.
So thank you to all you guys as well. Thank you.
Now we have a little clip, I think, of a very early concert, which we're going to play. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
So this clip is from 2013. It's just the strings of the orchestra. And we're playing Holst's St Paul's Suite. Just gives you a little taster of where we started.
And so St Paul's Suite, written for the girls of St Paul's School, Hammersmith, and not too far from our flat here, just the other side of the river. And I think it's full of a sort of youthful enthusiasm. So I think you'll see some rather fresh faces.
Yeah.
Find that I have to share my screen. I'm Chrome tab there.
And there we go.
That should take us into play. There we go. So that was a little clip of Wholesome Paul Suite played by Orchestra Vitae, conducted by Michael Cobb in 2013.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, as I said, some fresh faces there. I'm sure there's some familiar faces for those of you who've been to our concerts in the past. And also something, I mean, in this sort of COVID era, it's interesting to see a group of people really shoved into very close proximity.
Yeah, exactly,
It was it's funny to
see that.
But, anyway, that's good. So thinking about these early concerts then, how challenging was it to start the orchestra? Some of the challenges.
I think after that first concert, we were pretty overwhelmed with how much support that we had, and sort of the positive kind of response we had to the concert. So that was really amazing. So it became apparent quite quickly that we were going to do some more concerts. But we in those early days, we quite often chose to do some fairly substantial repertoire, shall we say. So large symphonic works. I think second concert included Tchaikovsky's Fifth Symphony, and then when we started playing at St John's Square, which was actually later in 2013, in October, we did An American in Paris by Gershwin and Symphonie Fantastique by Berlioz. So large orchestras, and at that time we were very much a sort of student amateur outfit, but that still meant fixing could be quite challenging. Sort of getting a sort of 80 to 90 musicians in place, but it was great, and we did some really wonderful concerts in those early days. We also did a concert at one of the concerts at St John's Square with a piece by Stephen Montague, which included organ and choir and water glasses and things like that. So we had
different pitches, right? So different amounts of water
yeah.
producing a different pitch, and you run your finger around the rim of the glass.
Yes. That was very funny and amazing. So challenging to get those many people together. But as I said, we were a student orchestra then.
What about now? How's that changed?
Well, I think back then, because we were a student orchestra, everybody was really kind of enthusiastic and everything, and willing to kind of help out and everything, and that has remained, which has been amazing. But we have sort of transformed now from being sort of a student amateur outfit into a professional outfit. Like I'd like to sort of think of it that the orchestra's grown up with its players. So now the challenge is mainly surrounding funding.
Yeah. We'll come on to that a bit later. So, what has been your proudest moment in the history of Orchestra Vitae thus far?
Has to be in 2015 we played alongside Wimbledon Choral Society at their centenary concert at the Royal Festival Hall, and we played Brahms's Requiem. And you were part of that one. Fantastic it's one of your first concerts.
One of my favourite pieces. It's
absolutely amazing piece. And I remember the front of house staff coming to tell us that we had to, take our places on the stage, and leading my side of the orchestra out, and it was just amazing. We were so excited. We were scared.
It was a sold out concert, wasn't it?
They opened the top of the balcony up as well, so it was amazing. And there were loads of our friends and supporters there, and obviously Wimbledon had done an amazing job at bringing all their friends and supporters as well. So to play to a packed out Royal Festival Hall, I think that's got to be my proudest moment with the orchestra, no doubt.
And what have been some other highlights along the way? I remember Shostakovich 10th
Symphony. That was great at St John's. I think as well we've been really fortunate to do a lot of kind of events for other kind of organisations. So we played at the Royal Albert Hall for some of their kind of events. We also played there as part of TEDx Albertopolis, which was really incredible to be part of, like something sort of much larger. And I think just other concerts with Wimbledon Choral Society, we played with them again in 2018 at Guildford Cathedral. And again, that was a really special concert. It's always amazing to play to lots of people. I think that's what.
That was Elgar, wasn't it? The music makers.
Yeah, and I think that's what so many of us are missing now, is playing to live audiences.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, lots.
So what are the aims of the orchestra, would you say now?
Now, well, I think it's been really amazing because it's evolved quite naturally. I said earlier that the orchestra immediately had a lot of kind of positivity around it, and people were sort of very excited about what we were doing and everything. And I think the aims is sort of to bring music to as many people as possible, and sort of to create a community, a sort of feeling of community through the orchestra. And we've started to put that into kind of a project together about that, and that's the Concert Chum project that we're hoping to do. Well, it was originally meant to be in April, but hopefully when we do our concert later this year, we'll be able to kind of start this project live. But the idea behind Concert Chums actually came out of some of my own experiences. So in 2015, shortly after the concert I told you about at the Royal Festival Hall, unfortunately my father died. And of course, when people pass away, there are lots of challenges for the family left behind. And my mum and dad had also always been like hugely supportive of myself, and I've got two younger brothers who are also professional musicians, and they have been to like literally every single concert I think any of us have ever done, and definitely every Vitae concert. And we it was after all of that, especially with my mum going to concerts, that she still obviously wanted to come and be involved and watch everything, but going on your own obviously was more challenging. And I very much wanted to make it for people in her situation that there would be a very nice positive environment surrounding the orchestra, that people who were potentially suffering potentially from bereavement or other mental health issues or anxiety of any kind really would be able to come to the concert and feel really sort of looked after and supported. And the Concert Chums would be people, volunteers who were around sort of as you come into the venue to show you to your seats, show you where the bar and the loos are and everything. Obviously this was all planned before coronavirus, but I think we'll be able to capture that essence in any live concert and just create a really supportive environment for our audiences.
More so now than ever.
Well, exactly. And these volunteers, the Concert Chums, will also be sort of on the lookout for people, even in the auditorium, that, you know, sometimes people do like to come to a concert and just, you know, disappear into their own world. And if that's what they'd like, then, you know, they won't sort of disturb those people. But equally, sometimes it's nice to have a chat with somebody at the interval. So they'll be on the lookout for people who just might want to have a chat. Yeah, I hope so.
And I think it's certainly something that music can offer, you know, in this current time, is to, you know, bring people together and give some people some hope and inspiration for the future. I think. So can you tell us a little bit about this concert that we've got, fingers crossed, lined up?
Yes. So we're hopeful that the next Orchestra Vitae concert will take place on Friday the 20th of November at St John Smith Square. We are again very hopeful that we will be able to have a live audience of some kind, social distance of course, and with all the precautions in place. But yeah, hopefully that will take place. It was originally meant to be in April and then it was in June. So yeah, assuming that can happen, and even if we can't have a live audience, there is always the option of live streaming it. So we'll have to decide closer to the time whether we'll only live stream or whether we'll have the audience. Yeah.
And what's the program for that concert?
Well, we've given it a name. This concert is called Serenade for the Soul. Pablo, our conductor, came up with that. So
Pablo Urbina.
Bebo Benny a little bit. We'll talk a little bit more about him
later on
in a second. But yeah, so Serenade for the Soul, which I think is something that we could all do with a little bit now. And it's going to include Elgar's Serenade for Strings, also Tchaikovsky's Serenade for Strings, and then 2 pieces by British composers. The first one by Hilary Tan, Water's Edge, and also a piece Pathway by Benjamin Rimmer. So yeah, and all for string ensemble, and the orchestra will be socially distanced as well. But this concert sort of also encapsulates a little bit of what we love to do as an orchestra, which is play pieces by British composers and also a mixture of works by both male and female composers. So we've managed to play works by female composers as well as male composers for a number of years now. So we're just continuing that trend.
That's nice. There's a nice mixture of repertoire with some contemporary pieces and also some masterworks from the canon. So
yeah, exactly. So I think there'll be something for everyone in this concert.
So thinking now about meet the team, going back to the idea behind the talk.
Yes.
So who is in Orchestra Vitae team?
So it's obviously myself and our conductor Pablo Urbina, and we also have guest conductor with us at this next concert, Philip Keller. And then next week you'll hear from Barbara Hamilton, who joined Team OV shortly after our very first concert in 2012. So it'll be interesting to hear her stories of the orchestra too. And then also Tom Thurgood and Lindsay Silver, who have both been on the board for a number of years now. So and Lindsay has played with the orchestra, and Tom has been a long-term supporter. So it'd be great to hear their experiences. We also have composer Danny Howard in the team, so she will be doing a session as well, talking a little bit about how the orchestra and Danny sort of were introduced. We actually commissioned her to write a piece for us, Arches. So I'll let her tell everyone about that. But that was an amazing experience for us.
Yeah, there's there's an exciting video of that piece, isn't there?
There is, yeah, but we'll save that for later in the series.
In that talk in weeks to come. So thinking about the future of the orchestra, where do you see the orchestra going in the next? Well, we don't know what the future holds, but what would you like to achieve with the orchestra in the next 5 years or in the near to long term future?
I would love for us to, first of all, just continue to be able to bring music to as many people as possible sort of throughout what's happening at the moment with the pandemic, and also sort of thinking beyond that. I mean, big times of thoughts that obviously like it would be amazing to play at a big festival like the BBC Proms or something like that. But I would love for the orchestra just to continue to make an impact for people who have sort of any kind of mental health issues, and to be able to create communities for people to be a safe place that people want to come and be involved with, and really for as many people as possible to kind of be part of Team OV and the OV family in general. So I think the positivity that we're very lucky and fortunate to have surrounding the orchestra in general, and if that can continue to bring people sort of happiness, that's the best thing that I can imagine, really.
Yeah. And thinking about then with your aims, and also with activities since the pandemic and the lockdown.
Yes.
We have managed to do a few events since then, and those particularly perhaps feed into those longer term aims of the orchestra. So perhaps we could just mention briefly that.
Yeah. So since lockdown, we have managed to do some events. Obviously, our concert was postponed, but Pablo actually gave a sort of pre-concert talk to the concert that would have been. And we have given webinars specifically to charities such as Age UK and Carers UK, for people who have been looking after others during the pandemic, and we've performed online to them. We've also given socially distanced concerts to to people in sheltered accommodation. So that has been really amazing to be able to bring music to people at this time. We also, through Pablo, gave a number of talks, online talks like this, through the Spanish Embassy.
Yeah, that was a really interesting series of talks, and actually you can find them on our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Somebody you familiar from this talk features in one of them, so you can pop and see me, and I think I'm in the second talk. But it was a really interesting series of talks where Pablo talked to different figures prominent in Spanish music, and played some examples and talked and interviewed the people as well. So that was a really interesting series of talks across July and August.
Yes, and of course we also did the education video with the wonderful Ruth Rosales, the animator Ruth, and we made this video for the children who should have come to watch the concert in April, but obviously schools were closed, there was nothing happening. So and we actually have that video
here
as well.
So we're going to play you that in a second, because that's actually something that we've done. You've organised a lot in the Orchestra Vitae concerts, the outreach sessions around a project. So we'll perform a concert at, say, St John's or wherever we're playing, but we'll also take either the music to a school, or have the schools visit us in our rehearsal space to share the music with them. And in recent years we've been working with Ruth, who is a fantastic animator and workshop leader, and we're going to have a watch of this video now. So I'll just share the screen and find that, which is here. There we go. I can recharge. So
hi, we are Orchestra Vitae. We've called Overcoming Challenges that we'd like you to
there we go. So that was the video from, that we recorded back in when was that? March, April time? April, May?
I think April,
May. And some really good, excellent technical wizardry to put that all together. I think that's something that
Ruth.
that everyone's been working on. I know I've been gamely struggling away with this technology to keep things going. Great. Is there anything else you would like to talk about?
No, I mean, just in general, I guess, just to say thank you to everyone for their support over these 8 years, and going forward. I think you'll really enjoy the talks over the next few weeks. Next week, as I said, with Barbara, Tom and Lindsay, and then the week after with Danny, she's going to be interviewed by Naomi Belshaw, and then the final week with Philip and Pablo. So I think you'll have the opportunity to meet the whole team and to sort of see how everything comes together. But we've been very lucky to have such amazing support from our friends and supporters over the years. So thank you to all of you for that, and we very much hope to be playing for you in some form again very soon, and one day we'll be able to play live for as many people as possible, and I think that will be a very emotional and amazing feeling when we can do that. So but until that can happen, we'll be here online and socially distanced.
Dig our concert clothes out from the back of the wardrobe somewhere.
Yes, yeah. But hopefully we'll see you in November. And yeah, great to have the opportunity to talk to you.
Well, thank you very much, Fiona, for that really interesting insight into the history and the story in general of Orchestra Vitae. And I hope you've enjoyed listening and watching. And if you do have any further questions for Fiona, do please feel free to email her on fiona@orchestravitae.co.uk. And as you said, next week we're on Tuesday, the 13th of October, which will be an interesting discussion with Barbara Hamilton, Tom Thurgood, and Lindsay Silver, who are all on our organisational board. And they'll be telling us about their involvement with the orchestra. So that's all we've got time for today. But thank you very much for watching, and we hope to see you at a concert or an event or on Zoom very soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.